Joining me right now on Kumite Radio is Joshua Culibao, Hex Fight Series Featherweight champ. What's going on, Joshua?
Not bad, not bad. Everything is going good.
Good, man. I want to go back to a key or pivotal moment in your career, which was Hex Fight Series 7. You came into the fight as a big underdog. You won the title in the 5th round via TKO. Going through all of that and then having the belt wrapped around your waist, how much did you prove to yourself?
It was definitely a big achievement, and it boosted my confidence because going into that fight, I was talking to my coaches and I was talking to Suma and I was talking to Igor, and I didn't feel confident in taking that fight, thinking I was just going to be another stepping stone for Rafael. But I just put my head down, trained hard for that fight, and that's where I am now. I've fought and beat that guy, and then I defended the title against another top competitor as well. So I've just every single time I've just proven, that confidence can get you past.
You mentioned that you defended it the next show. That was more than a year and a half ago. What's going on with the Hex title?
To be honest, I've been looking for an opponent. I've really wanted to fight for Hex again. Like, I love that show. It's probably one of the best promotions in Australia, if not the best promotion in Australia. Just things aren't working out, and it's kind of hard to find a legitimate opponent. I think that's just it. It's really up to them, but I'd love to fight for them again.
Are people dodging you? Are they ducking you? Is that what's going on? They don't want to accept fights?
I don't know if I'm that scary dude. I'm not that guy with that one punch knockout power or that sort of brutal submission game where I'm breaking people's arms and breaking people's legs. I don't think I'm that sort of person, but I think a lot with Australian MMA is that a lot of guys are just trying to take the easier fights, trying to pad the record and sort of get to the UFC without having to go through any of the challenges or without having to fight any of the top dudes. And when you do make it to the UFC, you're going to have to fight these top dudes. And if you haven't been tested before, then you're definitely going to be chucked straight into the deep end, and you're not going to survive in the UFC for long if you're just padding your record now, like outside of the UFC or any other big promotion.
The last time we saw you in the cage was at UFN 13, almost a year ago. Why have you had such a long layoff?
It's just the same thing. It's I've wanted to fight. I've been looking for people to fight, but some people just be turning down fights, and just the way it's been planned out. I've been looking to get some fights, but just hasn't happened my way. And I've been training. I've been doing everything still. I haven't stopped training, but it just hasn't gone my way. Fights just haven't popped up for me.
Have you been? You just mentioned that you've been training. Have you been focusing on anything in particular while you've been on this layoff?
Yeah, we're always trying to upskill in like certain areas where I don't usually would practice in a fight camp. So like stuff that I wouldn't normally do in a fight camp. So with a fight camp, I'd train something specific or something that I'm already using and just sharpening the tools, where when I'm out of a fight camp, I practice things that I would never use in a fight or would never think to use in a fight. And also like some sort of game plans and just having fun with my training, because with fight camps, it just gets so like mindless, it's mindless training, and you just want to have some fun sometimes and muck around in the gym. So when I'm not having to get ready for a fight, I get to play around, try different techniques, different game plans. So that's basically it, just upskilling, but just trying to have fun with my training.
DFC 7, the featherweight title is on the line. You're facing Rodolfo Marques. How was this matchup put together?
This is a fight that I've actually really really, really wanted, because I've known Rodolfo for a long time. Like, I've watched his fights. He's had, I think, close to 36 fights or 37 fights or something like that. So he's got 5 times the experience that I have. He's got 10 losses. I've only have 6 fights, so he has more losses than I have fights. He's a guy that I really respect, and I'm just motivated for the challenges that he's going to bring. And the way it came about was just, I've wanted that fight, and I was just talking to Suman. I was talking to my coaches. Let's try to get a fight, a big name fight, and his name popped up, and I was like, let's do it. And that's the way it happened.
It seems like you consider him the biggest test of your young career. Is that true?
I think every fight to date, like, your next fight is always going to be your biggest fight, because you're only as good as your last performance. And my last performance, to be honest, wasn't the best performance. So this fight coming up now, I've really got a lot to prove, not just to everyone else, but to prove to myself that I'm the top guy in Australia, and I want to prove it to everyone, just so there's no more bickering of like, oh, who's the top featherweight, who's the top guy in Australia that should be next in line to fight for one of these big promotions. I feel like I'm that guy after I beat Rodolfo. I feel like I'm the number one guy that should be fighting for these big promotions.
How has training camp been?
It's been really good, actually. It's been a long camp. Like, I've been getting ready for, well, how many weeks we out now? We're 3 weeks. Probably like 14 weeks. This time around, this fight camp's been 14 weeks since mid-August or end of August we started, and it's going good. I'm just happy and excited that the fight camp's coming to an end. Only 2 weeks left till it's fight week, and then we taper down and be able to have some fun in that cage.
You split your time at Igor MMA and Australian Top Team. Can you talk about the advantages of having these two gyms to train at?
Okay, so first of all, my head coach Igor, he's my head coach. He sets out the game plan. He sets out my training structure. He sets out a lot of different things for me. With the boys at the ATT, the Australian Top Team, they give me the bodies that I need. The Australian Top Team is just a room full of killers that I get to test everything out on. And if it doesn't work, then I know it's not going to work in the fight. So I train with these guys, and I get an insight in their minds as well. But not only that, I get an insight of my head coach's mind. Like, he sets everything out, gives me a game plan, gives me a set of techniques to practice. We'll drill it throughout the week. I'll head to Australian Top Team, try to do it on those boys and see what works and what doesn't work. But the advantage is I have all the talent in Australian Top Team, and then I have my head coach who's sort of the brains of everything. Like, without him, everything just falls apart for me.
Marques, he's been fighting professionally for 10 years. He has a total of, like you mentioned earlier, 36 fights. He's fought high-level competition. But with that said, do you believe he is the most dangerous right now, or do you think he has lost a step with his kind of, recent record?
With a guy like that, that's had that many fights, you can't overlook someone, because he's fought a lot of good names, and he's come out on top against a lot of those good names as well. So I can't overlook him. He's definitely the toughest test in regards to experience, but I don't think athletically or technically he's the most dangerous opponent that I've fought up to date.
People always talk about, Marques being such a great grappler. What aspect of your game do you feel shines the most?
Being able to adapt mid-fight. I think if one thing isn't working for me, I can sort of realize that it isn't working for me, and I can switch to another game plan, or just being observant in the fight, sort of being able to read what's going well, what's working, what isn't working. So, like, let's say if a certain game plan for me isn't working, I can start to switch and be like mid-fight, mid first round or end of first round, I've realized that one certain technique isn't working. Let's not use it anymore. Let's try something else. So I think that's my biggest advantage.
How do you see the title fight going down on November 10th?
I've envisioned a lot of different ways, both good and bad. But in my mind, I don't see this going 5 rounds. I feel like this whole training camp has led to me sort of getting him out there early. But if not, I'm definitely going to be ready. I'm always ready to go 5 rounds if need be. But I don't think this one's going past the second round.
Do you take your career fight by fight, or do you have a set plan for your future?
I've definitely got a set plan. Like I was just talking to Tyson Pedro the other day, and he said, "Josh, write down your goals, write it down, have it on a wall, look at it, read it every day." And I sort of have that. I've written it down. I think to myself about it every day, and but I do go from fight to fight. I don't sort of overlook anyone that I've fought. I focus solely on that one fight, and then when the next fight comes, I focus solely on that fight. But I do look at a bigger picture at the end of the day.
All right, Diamondback Fighting Championship 7, November 10th in Adelaide. The main event, Joshua Culibao will face Rodolfo Marques for the featherweight title. It's going to be a huge opportunity for you, Joshua, and a
Yep.
big test. Even, I think, on the other side, too. You're a test for him to see if he can hang with the young generation.
In my mind, it's my time now. He's sort of had his time. He's had his time to shine and try to make it to those big organizations, and he hasn't had the opportunity to make it. So now it's my time. So he's not taken away from me.
All right, Joshua. Thanks for your time, man.
No worries. Thank you.